Well, welcome to I Love Gay at Home. And today we're with, wait a second, I didn't ask you how if I'm going to say your name correctly. Amazin LêThị?
Amazin LêThị.
Oh, thank goodness, I was close. Global Ambassador for Athlete Ally, Stonewall UK, and quite a number of organizations. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Great to be on the show this afternoon.
Yes, it's wonderful to have you. And just tell us a little bit about who you are and what you've been up to, and because it seems like you do a lot.
Yes, so my name is Amazin LêThị. I was the first Asian Athlete Ally ambassador in 2014, and then 2019 I became the first Asian Stonewall sports champion ambassador. Plus, I'm also the ambassador for Vietnam Relief Services, an organization that works in Vietnam and helps poor communities. I'm a former competitive bodybuilder and athlete, and I work all around the world using sport as my platform to accelerate equality, but also having these, conversations around, being Asian and the challenges that we face in the community and the challenges that we face becoming pro athletes as well.
Well, I noticed you're doing, especially during this pandemic, a lot of events. You used to travel the world speaking at various events, but now you're doing a lot of it virtually. And you have one, I think, tonight as well, yes?
Yes, I'm speaking with the Ruston LGBTQ Center in New Jersey. I think, I'm usually on the road all the time. I do a lot of work globally with different governments around the world, having closed door conversations and open door conversations regarding LGBTQ equality, the challenges that Asian LGBTQ people face within their country, and how they can use sport as a platform for equality. But obviously now with the coronavirus situation, no one can really travel. But actually, through virtual events, you can engage the whole world, whereas when you're traveling doing an in-person event, it's only maybe that engagement with those within that community. And obviously the conversation has shifted because of all the coronavirus racism as well towards the Asian community.
That's the whole thing. I mean, I think that I think we're learning as we're kind of evolving and adapting into this new world that we're in, that it's the engagement that we have. It's shifted. It's different. It is now virtual, but also the word you use, impactful. It's like we're realizing that we can actually have a greater impact maybe than we were able to do in the real world, because of the fact that we could move around so much quicker and be on, whether it's various shows or just reaching people in a different way, and especially through social media, which I see you on everywhere.
No, I mean, absolutely. I think, this global shutdown has given us all the time to pause and reset. And I think, as an advocate of, how do we use the internet to be just as impactful as we could be in person? And then, as an athlete, how do I, when there's no sport at the moment, but how do I keep having that conversation around sport as a unifying mechanism to change hearts and minds?
Yeah, I love it. And especially now, this month, it's Asian Heritage Month. Are you doing any lectures, presentations, and so forth? How are you involved with that this month?
If it wasn't for the shutdown, I would be doing a lot of events, particularly in the US, in Washington, with all the governments there. So everything is just virtual now. And I think, more than ever, Asian Heritage Month is so important because of all the coronavirus racism and the negativity towards the Asian community. I think we need to be able to pause and also celebrate our community and our traditions and our culture and our achievements, but also highlights, what this, racism and violent xenophobia has done to our community, and also, more marginalized communities like, the Asian LGBTQ community, Asian LGBTQ kids and youth, and how we can be better allies, and, what will the new world look like as we're moving forward?
Yeah. Well, these are always, in some ways, litmus tests, or it's a way for us to kind of look in a mirror and see, like, who are we? And I think, fortunately, the people you and I are engaged with on a normal basis, we get it. And and we understand, but we also understand the impact of when leaders are up there saying what they do, including how they treat journalists during a press conference. It's appalling. And fortunately, most of us, I would like to think, understand and see that. But it's what it opens up, the doors it opens up, that we have to make sure, I think, we address on an even more aggressive basis.
Absolutely. And it's not just addressing the now in terms of the incidences, which is obviously very important, and the language that we use, how media plays a role in that. And then when someone at the top, like the Trump administration, are obviously making these racist and xenophobic remarks and obviously targeting Asian journalists, what that means to society when it suddenly more becomes normalized, but also moving forward, the ramifications on our mental health and well-being. When you think of how hard it is for a kid who is struggling with their sexuality and gender identity, but then on top of that, coronavirus, racism as well, that long-term mental health impact, over the next few years, that we need to start addressing that now. And for some kids, this is the first time that they've experienced this kind of racism. And it's the multiple layers of attack, from homophobia, transphobia, biphobia, xenophobia, racism, sexism, all the kind of isms. And then on top of that, being, in a shutdown and completely isolated.
No, I hear you. I'm an optimist. I'm always hopeful that this is the start of conversations that can make us all better. So that's my hope and goal.
Oh, no, I think absolutely. I think, out of this, we're finding that we are different but the same.
Yeah.
And, we can all be better allies to each other. And I think, through Asian Heritage Month, as we go into Pride, let's start uplifting positive stories within the community as well, because people are feeling very isolated. For the first time, this might be the first time that a gay kid was hoping to go to a Pride event in person, and Pride, obviously has pretty much been cancelled for the entire year. But what virtual events does is that those that are still struggling anonymously, they can click on and still be part of a community and still see that there's a global community out there that supports them and loves them and celebrates them.
Yeah. No, I love it. And that's my hope as well. So no, I really appreciate and thank you for being here with us and to kind of share a few moments just to share your message and who you are. And I'm going to make sure to tag you in everything that we post so that they could easily find you. But no, thank you so much for being here, and hope you have what's set to be a wonderful weekend.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me. Very much enjoyed the conversation.
All right. Take care now.
Bye.